Hey, this is Cool Trains in Montreal, and since I'm stuck inside, I just wanted to show off a little bit of my little N scale, that's 1 to 1/60th scale, um, basic track layout here that I'm using as a test track. And I wanted to show some model versions of some rail cars that you might see as ghosts on the modern freight trains that you see in the Montreal area. I say ghosts because some of them are just that, ghost railroads that don't exist anymore. And some of them, like this Canada car, exist, but are probably going to be repainted or are going to be taken out of circulation, something like that. Anyways, and these are cars that you will see a lot, or probably a little bit less so now, but they were pretty prevalent in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up, and I really enjoyed seeing rail cars that were well painted and they had some really good graphics and logos. Not like you see now where most of them are just reporting marks and just oxide red box cars. And also I would like to show off the progress on my bridge. So I've actually got a road surface down on this thing. And I'm working now, after this video, I guess I'll take it back to my workshop and start working again on the handrails and everything like this. The road surface is now down. It has to be painted. And I just wanted to show some of the cars that I have. For some reason, this little bus has the word Newfoundland printed on it. I don't know why, but it's kind of cool. These buses are slightly out of scale, but they'll do for the purposes of having a nice little vehicle on this bridge. So I have some different buildings on here. I like to change up the buildings that I have on this side of the layout because I don't like to have the same ones all the time, and I have a lot of different buildings. And there's not too much to this. This is my controller. It's a DC controller. That's all I have right now. And I have DC trains. And this little test track just hooked up there with a little piece of track hooked to the back. So it's just easier to move around. I could energize any of these 3 tracks. And at some point in the future, I have actually put feeders in these tracks so that it can be integrated into something bigger at a later date. So let's just start with let's look at the back. Start with some of the older equipment that we see. So this is a cylindrical hopper. I believe that's National Steel Company that built these. This is the Canada one. The reporting marks are, I think, CNWX in this one. Yes, CN. So these were assigned to the Canadian National. CP had similar painted Government of Canada, and they would have said CPWX. So the next one over here is Soo Line. Now Soo Line is a ghost railroad. It's part of CP. It was a subsidiary of Canadian Pacific up until very recently, and you could actually see probably in the early 2000s even, locomotives in the Montreal area, SD60s, painted in the iconic kind of, red and white Soo Line locomotive livery. And this is what they used on their hopper cars. I've got several train videos, I think, where you can see a very rusted, very paint splotched version of the Soo Line, green and on a white background, and it had that kind of sheaf of wheat there. So yes, there's a couple. And then this one here, I've seen several times, is the black cylindrical hopper for CP Rail. They came in a couple of shades. This one was black, and they also had a silver one, which I can show later on, an aluminum colored one with the same CP Rail Pac-Man logo. They're pretty rare now because CP Rail has not been CP Rail for probably 20 years. Maybe more than that, 25 years. But these cars are still running around. Here we have a PS1 or a PS2 covered hopper. They're squarish. You see them around. They're very rusted at this point. This one happens to be also for the Soo Line because I like the Soo Line. I like the sheaf of wheat, and the locomotives also are really cool with the white and red. I'll show those another time. But yeah, you'll see these all rusted again. The white will be mostly gone. You'll still see the Soo reporting marks on a lot of CP Rail hoppers or boxcars or whatever, like I said, it's a ghost railroad, and that's the Ghost. The Sioux is still part of the CP Rail, or Canadian Pacific. This blue one is Grand Trunk Western, and this is a CN affiliate, and it's already, you'll see locomotives, sometimes it'll have the GT reporting marks. Similar to the Illinois Central IC, it was folded up into the CN, but at one time in the 70s, it was not quite an independent railroad, but a subsidiary railroad, and it had the GT was written similar to the CN here. Since they were under the same management, or almost the same management, they wanted a unified logo. So the CN was, when they did the CN Noodle, GT went ahead and did this GT logo, which is basically CN Wet Noodle for GT. And I thought it was really cool, and I really love the blue, and I really like the way this car looks. And you can still see some of them on the rails today, all rusted, as I said, but that GT is there. And a couple of more modern ones that I like, because like I say, modern rail cars are mostly bland looking. They're just graffitied up anyway. But in the recent railroad logos, we have Kansas City Southern, which for the longest time was just a boring, bland KCS. But here they painted hopper cars into this really nice Southern Belle, which was their premier passenger train back in the 50s and 60s. Inspired kind of livery, this yellow and red stripe, and you'll see these cars around. They'll either have the KCS reporting marks, or I think they'll have leased ones as well that are running around with this color scheme, but no KCS, and definitely not this logo. I haven't seen this logo on cars in the Montreal area in a long time, although I think I used to see some. But anyway, these cars are just beautiful. I really love the logo. You'll see this logo actually a lot on auto racks now. Yes, this is a really great design, and I really like them. And then the last one you'll see here is another NSC, National Steel Company car. I believe these are built in Hamilton, Ontario. This is a Saskatchewan car. Now, the government of Saskatchewan had two paint schemes for cars of this type. They had a more bland kind of orangey and black with a sheaf of wheat, but I think I have one of those maybe, but I don't have a good example of it here. But what I do have is this beautiful Saskatchewan one. I have like 3 cars of this because I really love them. I really love the green. I really love the flower. It just breaks my heart when somebody goes and marks it up with graffiti, because it's just a great graphic, and I wish they would just leave it the hell alone. There's plenty of great cars for you to spray paint on. Why not just use one of those? Anyways, this is like a really neat car, and it harkens back to the days when there was a lot in the 70s and 80s, like I said, where railroads took a lot of pride, and they put a really good logo on their rolling stock, painted their rolling stock up, and you would see them rolling by, and they would have some kind of meaning. Anyways, so this video has gone a little bit longer than what I thought, so I'll make a second video of some of the locomotives. So, as always, if you like what you see, please subscribe to Cool Trains in Montreal. Have a good day.